Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure. No, not Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. It's just Sharpay and her dog Boy and their fabulous adventure in New York City. Uh, this is sort of like a spin off sequel to the High School Musical series. Did not know this even existed until yesterday. Um, and I honestly, when I looked at it, I was like, this came out in 2011. It's an hour and 31 minutes long. 2011. This is 9 years old, and this is 3 years after the last High School Musical movie, which is number three. Um, so, wow, I had no idea. Of course, yesterday we had, or was it yesterday? God, it's all running together. Phineas and Ferb. She voices Candace, the big sister to Phineas and Ferb. So we're getting a lot of Ashley Tisdale this week. We'll see what happens next. Maybe we'll get the original High School Musical and finish off the entire series, except for the musical, which is a whole other thing. Anyway, this is her own vehicle, her own adventure without Zac Efron and Vanessa Hudgens getting in her way. She's she kind of plays the villain in each of the movies, from what I gather. She's the rich, stuck up, elitist girl that the common girl always has to, little Vanessa Hudgens always has to go up against, and the good girl versus the mean girl, and in this case, she gets to be the hero. And yes, they still play off the whole uber rich and that's all that matters kind of attitude, which is in a joking manner, like because normal people, sorry, normal people don't ever have to worry about the kind of things that she and her family have to worry about. She it's a musical, obviously. She performs the very first opening scene is her performing on stage for some reason. Um, and a producer in New York watches her performance and says, "Oh, this is exactly what we've been looking for. Come to New York." And yeah, so sure, why not? I mean, you like to sing, you like to dance, you like to perform, and you're good at it. I mean, it's not just because she's a bad guy doesn't mean that she's not a great performer and singer. She definitely is. She just kind of always has her own selfish agenda in these things, always trying to get the boy that the good girl wants, or whatever, the fame, the fortune, the power that they you just enjoy when you're already have all the fame and the power and the fortune. So anyway, she's like, okay, let's go to New York, but her parents are kind of hesitant to let her go. She's still young. She graduated high school 4 years ago, 3 years ago, I don't know. Um, and she's just like, okay, I want to go to New York. And they're like, well, we live in New Mexico. It's a whole different planet. We know somebody that mom graduated with. She has a son who's probably going to be hunky, and he lives in the area, and he might be able to watch over her. So they make a deal. He's like, hey, dad says, hey, if you can't make it work, no pressure. You just got to come home and get a job. Because, I'm somehow now going to start teaching responsibility. I have no idea. So, yeah, she works it out. She uses all of her friends to, she can't seem to do this herself. She has friends who are sort of latched on to her and her fortune and fame and everything else. They don't get to go with her. They just help her book flights and get apartments, things like that, making the phone calls for her and the research and everything else. But she's of course bringing her dog, Boy, cute little thing, possibly the star of the picture. I don't know. He's adorable, um, and you'll understand once you see it why I say that. Um, she goes to New York, and of course, not everything is going to go right. It's otherwise you wouldn't have a story. You wouldn't have a movie. So yeah, she. I don't want to tell you the whole thing. I'm not going to tell you the whole thing, but she runs into adversity when it comes to where she lives, who she associates with, and the whole purpose for her going there in the first place. Turns out that the job isn't for her, it's for the dog. It's for boy. And I don't recall the dog being in the performance, but I didn't rewind, so I didn't bother checking. So, yeah, so the dog might be a star, and she has to put herself through a number of humiliating circumstances in order to help her dog become famous, and by proxy, hopefully make her famous as well. Of course, cute boy shows up, and he wants to film her entire experience because he's a film student at NYU. I think it's NYU. Anyway, so we get reasons for her to be herself on camera, and she gets to be the center of attention, and she gets to be Sharpay as you know her and love her. So, yeah, it pretty much goes down the way you expect it to. It's fairly predictable. She gets a rival because there's a rival for the position for the dog in a 12-year-old boy who seems familiar, like he was in another dog competition movie. Holy crap, is this a crossover? Didn't we have one where there was a movie with a snotty little kid? Oh man, I should have checked this out. I'm just realizing this now. We watched something a little while ago. If you know what I'm talking about, I've gotten this far in the video. If you know what I'm talking about, comment and tell me which movie we talked about. I might figure it out later. But the idea is that there was a dog competition movie we watched a couple months ago, and it was like some obnoxious younger kid. Well, he must have moved up to New York, and he's now competing against Sharpay, him and his dog anyway, are competing against her and her dog to be in the Broadway play. I'm guessing this is not a big Broadway play. It's sort of off Broadway, maybe not too far off, but a big star is attached. Speaking of which, I don't know the names of anybody else who appears in this movie except for the mom. I recognize her from General Hospital. I don't know. She's been in a bunch of 24. She's been in a bunch of stuff. Kim, no, it's not Kim Raver. It's somebody. But pretty much nobody else in this movie I recognize except for Ashley. So, and I didn't even bother doing IMDb. You can if you want, but yeah, I'm surprised that there weren't more musical numbers in this. There's the big opening, the big closer. There's a few emotional, explaining how I feel kind of songs, but beyond that, and also official performance songs that she has to do in order to make the dog do things. So, yeah, it's pretty much by the numbers. She's outrageously funny, kind of not Elle Woods level, but she's got that whole Legally Blonde kind of thing going here, but on a just as not self-aware as Elle Woods, but on a different scale. Let's just say she's funny despite herself. So, and she's a great performer, and it's obviously this is not a movie made for me. It's for people who love High School Musical and want more, even if they don't have Zach or Vanessa in it. It's pretty much a very big Ashley Tisdale vehicle. So yeah, it's if you like more High School Musical stuff and you like Sharpay and her sort of vapid, silly attitude, and seeing her brought low in order to, struggle between her integrity and going for what she wants. Does she compromise who she is in order to get what she thinks she wants? Well, that's the whole point of the movie. And if you want to find out, it's time to watch it. But you kind of know how it's going to end, right? There's no real surprises in this. So, yeah. It's for the High School Musical crowd. It's not for me. I can't say I recommend it for somebody like me, but hey, you know what you want. You watch Sharpay and Her Fabulous Adventure along with Boy. Again, the dogs are awesome. They're cute, and it's worth. I'm surprised at how many really cute shots they got for the dogs. Mainly Boy. It's so tiny. Okay, let's go with tomorrow's episode.
609.
609. Okay. 609. Oh, okay, all right, yeah. I forgot. There's got really close to something else I've been wanting to rewatch. A number of things I really want to rewatch. We're in the Thes, by the way. The Thes is the section in the T's where everything begins with the. It starts in the mid 500s and goes all the way through like the mid 600s. 609 is an Anne Hathaway vehicle. Can you figure out what that might be? It is The Princess Diaries. So we just missed The Princess Bride, Princess and the Frog, and thank God we got the first Princess Bride Diaries before the second one, because then I'm sure I'd be totally lost. So yeah, we're gonna watch The Princess Diaries with Anne Hathaway on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow.